G'day there guys, Marky here, and welcome back to another episode of r/relationship advice. With that said, I want you to sit back, relax, chuck a prawn to the barbie, and let's get right into it. Posted by user RemoteB6613, titled, My 22 male, girlfriend 22 female, got blackout drunk on our anniversary and kept calling me a loser. Throwaway because I don't want her to find this. My girlfriend and I were supposed to celebrate our 3-year anniversary today. She started the day with telling me about how not that big of a deal the anniversary was, and I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bit hurt. I specifically tried hard to make sure that I got the day off from work, even after some scheduling conflicts with my boss almost made it impossible. I even surprised her this morning with wine and chocolate and her favorite sodas. We went to a couple of different places, including the mall and Target, and some errands that she needed to get done. I tried my absolute best to make sure that my attention was on her all day long, which is difficult sometimes because I have ADD and tend to get distracted when I'm just relaxing. She did get me a few things throughout the day, but overall she mostly just ignored me, not wanting to stand with me, or just getting mad at little things. I tried to end our day off at the bar near our place, which I thought would be a romantic way to end things. She had already had 2 glasses of wine at our house and went out for a few more drinks at the bar. When I was ready to leave, she insisted that we go to another bar down the street, and maybe I should have said something, but I also thought that it wasn't my place to boss her around, and there was an arcade in the bar, so I was willing to go and try it and get her to play some arcade games with me. She instead tried to leave me and joined a table of random people at the bar, which is where I finally intervened and told her that it's our anniversary and I wanted to be with her. She finished her drink, and we didn't play any games, and began to walk home. Halfway home, I realized she was blackout drunk and couldn't stand straight. She could barely walk, and she wasn't speaking right. She insisted that I leave her on the street to go get her car and drive her home, which I refused because I had a couple of drinks and I didn't want to risk it. This is where she began to get really mad at me. At one point, she wanted to use the bathroom right on the bridge that we were on, and when I told her she can't because that's illegal, she got more upset. Fast forward to us being home now, and she went to use the bathroom and she could barely stand up. She demanded I make her food, and then just kept calling me a loser over and over again. She finished her food and went to bed, saying that I was useless. Now, I've always been emotional, but I just wanted to cry. I don't want to be with someone who thinks I'm a loser. I would do anything for her. Did I do something wrong? What should I do? In the comments, NeonRolly47 says, quote, "Did I do something wrong? What should I do?" I'm disturbed that after being treated this poorly, your response is to ask if you did something wrong. This is how abuse victims think. You need to reevaluate whether you want to be in this relationship. 100% this. You are not the problem, friend. I've been where you are. Distance and time will give you a better pair of glasses to see the messed up situation that you're in. Word of caution, maybe get counseling before your next relationship. I was in a toxic situation for 8 years. When I got in a healthy relationship, I was suspicious of what turned out to be perfectly normal, healthy behavior from my girlfriend. It almost sank us. Dim Tim from Q says, it's pronounced as ex-girlfriend. You'll find that it rolls off the tongue much easier the more often that you say it. There's 2 things here that need to be focused on, but before I get into that, you need to know that you are not a loser. I'll get into you and what you need to do second, but it needs to be made crystal clear that you did nothing wrong to her. The wrong with you is around what you do to yourself. I digress. So first, let's just be direct here. She's an effing asshole. She doesn't give a shit about you. Here is where I need to be crystal clear. This isn't about her getting blackout drunk. That's what you want to focus on to try to excuse the more important reality. The relationship is unhealthy, and she doesn't care to fix it. Why? Because she has no reason to. Because she's learned there will never be consequences for her actions. Second, and I apologize for coming off as mean here, as it's not my intention and I'm fully on your side, one very big issue is the fact that you have and continue to put up with this. Let's just address each example. It's your 3-year anniversary. It's absolutely not nothing. If it's not her thing, then so be it, but you're not crazy for finding meaning in it. The problem, though, is how you responded. She doesn't see it as a big deal. Fine. Has this always been the case? You've had 2 others. Regardless, that's what she says. Did you discuss the day with her ahead of time? You made effort to get the day off, and you surprised her, but did you already know that she didn't give a shit? Her behavior would lead me to believe that you've experienced this before and were trying to fight reality by doing nice things. You'll have to confirm. On the date, she treated you like shit, avoided you, wanted to just drink without you, and then when you got home, she made you out to be an asshole. Forget about the fact that you're emotional. Any logical person would get emotional after being treated that way. She's emotionally abusive. In short, you need to run. You'd do anything for her? Why? Why would you want to do anything for someone who treats you like absolute garbage? The only thing you've done wrong is put up with it. There's nothing wrong with you. There is something wrong with her. I promise you that when you're in a healthy relationship, you will never have these questions. Run. Good luck. Yeah, exactly. Why would you do anything for her? This statement really made me feel bad. Buddy, have you read the post back to yourself? You deserve better. And now, on to the update. We finally broke up. If I'm being completely honest, I wanted out of that relationship a long time ago. I think the only reason I really stuck around is because I didn't have a lot of people in my life who made me feel loved, and I think even a glimpse of that on the days where she was sweet to me would fool me into thinking that things were gonna get better. I'm signed up to start talking with a therapist now, so I'm hoping to kind of get to the root of why, as many of you put it, I'm such a doormat sometimes. I don't like that about me, but I want to try and get better. As to why this took so long to get to, I was unfortunately on a lease with her until June, and I couldn't afford to break lease early. I knew that if I had tried to break up with her before the lease ended, things might have gotten nasty, and I just wanted to be able to sleep at night. I do want to say thank you to all of the kind words that people gave me. It definitely helped me start seeing that I did have value, and I deserve to be loved the way that I wanted. I'm still struggling with my depression, but I think that this is the right way to go. Thank you all so much. If there is anything I left out that you're curious about, just ask and I'll try to answer as best I can. In the comments, She Stammy says, "Congratulations, OP. It must be a weight off of your shoulders." OP says, "Thank you. I don't really know what to feel yet, but I'm hoping for the best." You might not know exactly how you're feeling, but it certainly sounds better than how you were feeling in the original post. Here's to new possibilities. Best of luck to you. What was her reaction? I'm assuming she didn't take it well. Either way, I'm glad you're out of that situation. OP says, "I think she kind of saw it coming, to be completely honest, and I think she wanted to start a fight, but I just didn't respond to any of her messages. I think it's telling that you were the one who broke it off in this case, OP. Don't let her insults get you down. In the end, her actions say that she was completely happy with your relationship, and your actions show that you deserve better. Wishing you all the best." I remember seeing this post 3 months ago in here, and I felt really sorry for you. I'm really glad you found the courage to leave, and I hope from now things start to get better for you. Listen, it's a journey. The loneliness will make you ache with pain, but once you fight through it and work on you, you will find happiness that you need to have. Our next post is by user Cowlick2020, titled, "I'm female 29, having my boyfriend, male 32, be in the room when I give birth instead of the baby's father, male 37. So I'm currently pregnant with my ex's baby. My ex, Bill, and I had a great relationship until the pandemic hit, and then he lost his job and started drinking heavily and became verbally abusive. I worked really hard to try and save our relationship until the spring of 2022. We had a lot of times when I felt like things were getting better, but they were always empty promises. In March of last year, I broke it off, but I'll admit that it was messy. He blasted me to his family, who gave me hell for leaving him during such a trying time in his life. I would try to be a friend for him, and he would pressure me to have sex with him and keep a friends with benefits relationship with him. I did this until October, when I decided that I was done. In November, I started dating my current boyfriend, Matt. Matt is amazing, and we went to high school together. I found out that I was pregnant shortly after we got together, before we slept together, and Matt stood by me. Matt had cancer when he was younger, so he can't have kids, and was open to being the baby's father if Bill wanted out. At first, Bill did want out. He berated me for keeping the baby and trapping him, but I told him that he didn't have to be the father in any way if he didn't want to. I make enough on my own to support me and the baby and have a strong support network. He started going off the walls, messaging me, calling me names, etc. I blocked him. I found out I was having a baby boy, and then he found out and showed up at my door saying he wanted to be involved and apologized for treating me poorly. He hasn't really been involved though. No doctor's appointments, not asking me how I'm doing, nothing. Well, I'm due at the end of this month, and he contacted me about letting me know when I go into labor so he could be there. I was quite blunt in telling him that he wouldn't be there because this was a vulnerable time for me, and I needed support. He told me he wanted to see the birth of his child, but he understood. Then he asked me who would be there, and I was honest with him that it would be Matt and my mum. He lost his mind. He told me that I'm taking this away from him and letting another man be there. He accused me of going to have Matt sign the birth certificate so he couldn't be involved, and is now telling me he is planning to take me to court to force me to let him be there. He told me that Matt is not allowed to be around his son at all. He got his family to start attacking me too, and he told me that if my mum was going to be there, his mum could be there in his place, and I should be fine with that because we're both girls, and someone needs to be there to have a say for the baby in case things go wrong, because my mum and Matt would choose me to save, even though as a mother I should be willing to die for my child. I'm still telling him no. But now my dad is saying I'm taking away a huge moment for him as a man and letting another man take his spot after breaking his heart. Now I feel like I'm ruining my son's potential relationship with his father because I won't let him be in the room when he is born. But I feel like I have the right to be comfortable and I should have advocates for my health. His mum has been terrible to me since the breakup, and I have no doubt that she would be very overbearing and stress me out when I'm trying to give birth. I also feel bad for Matt, and feel like I should have just broken up with him when I found out I was pregnant, instead of dragging him through this. This is acceptable, right? I'm not obligated to have the father's baby in the room. In the comments, Pass Under, Pass Over says, quote, is now telling me he's planning to take me to court to force me to let him be there. Lol, let him waste his money. It is your medical procedure and your prerogative to have whomever you want in the room. Having him or his mother there would obviously stress you out, and it's best for you and the baby to feel safe and calm during delivery. Get a lawyer so you can work out a custody arrangement for the future and tell him that any future contact will be through them. Make it clear that you will contact the police if his family keeps harassing you. Definitely tell the nurses that he has been pushy about being there and that you do not want anyone other than your mum or your boyfriend present. Nurses do not F around with this, and they will send his ass packing none too gently if he shows up. I will say, did you give yourself time to heal here? You broke up with an abusive partner and started dating someone new a month later, all while being pregnant and dealing with your ex's harassment. I'm not saying to break up with your boyfriend, but definitely get a therapist when you're able to, because I'm concerned about the turnaround with a newborn in the mix. And OP replies, by the end, I was pretty checked out. When we were still physical, I was also being physical with other people, which he knew and hated because he was the one who said that he was going to be physical with others and then struggled with that. I am in therapy too and have been since he lost his job and our relationship started to take a turn. Are you sure he's the father? I only ask because you were being intimate with others during this time as well. You don't have to have anyone in the delivery room that you don't want. It's a protected legal right, assuming you're in the US. Do definitely get an attorney and get a custody agreement together. Also, I'd recommend your ex only communicate to you through court-allowed apps since he harasses and is, at the very least, verbally abusive to you. Likewise, keep a record of all communication outside of that app. Your new boyfriend seems like a great guy. I hope it works out for you too. And OP replies, unfortunately, yes. He was the only person that I slept with in the time frame that I conceived. He also started taking his condoms off at the end, which is why I ultimately ceased sleeping with him altogether, because I figured it out. I didn't realize that I could start a custody agreement before he was born, but I'm definitely doing that now and going to direct him to only talk through the lawyer and courts. Taking the condom off during sex without the consent of the partner is called stealthing. In some places, it is illegal. It may be worth looking into this and pressing charges. Sperm donor does not sound like a safe, stable environment for a baby. You really buried the lead, leaving out that you only fell pregnant because he was stealthing you. Hopefully, you're in a state where that is considered assault, so you can file a report. Sometimes, if you can show the child is a product of assault, which is what stealthing is, you can have his parental rights stripped. This person doesn't seem safe at all, and I'd be considering every conceivable way to keep your son far away from him rather than worry about their future relationship. And OP replies, I actually didn't know this was a thing, but I've seen multiple people telling me this. He did this to me early on in our relationship, but I was quick to put a stop to it. Now there was no reason to tell him to stop, I just stopped having sex with him because it felt like he violated my trust. And now, onto the update. I gave birth a week ago today. I was in labor for almost 3 days after being induced due to high blood pressure. My mum was on a work trip because I had no signs of labor, and my doctor had been telling me how often women go to 40+ weeks the first time around. She rushed to get back and did make the birth, but missed most of the labor. I labored alone for a long time, but by day 2, I needed someone and had my boyfriend come to the hospital. I didn't even tell Bill that I was in labor because I knew how stressful it would be, and it was already not a great time. My boyfriend was an absolutely wonderful support while I was in labor, and he kept me and my mum calm as I ended up in a C-section for not progressing enough. Y'all, this man was on his knees helping me spray my poor vagina after going to the bathroom because bending to try and reach it over my belly was absolutely painful AF. He was supportive in a way that I didn't even know I needed support. After being able to recover and sleep, I let Bill know that our son had arrived. He was livid. He refused to come to the hospital and meet his son because I stole the only chance to bond with him, and he called me a fake mother for having a C-section and said I was lucky his son didn't die because of my stupidity, because if he would have killed me, and also told me that I was selfish. He said I had better name him X's name Junior, or we would be getting it changed when he took full custody. I did not name him after my ex, and I gave my son my last name, and I banned my ex from the hospital. Before I went into labor, I had an appointment with an attorney and was able to do it virtually once I was discharged. He said in our state, many times a judge won't sign off on a father terminating their rights unless another person is going to step into that role. He also said to save everything from X in case I need to file a restraining order. Bill still has not met his son, but I have offered it many of times. He has said some really nasty things about me breastfeeding my son while taking medication for pain and blood pressure, saying I'm a doughy, unfit parent, etc. He lastly told me that he would be coming and taking our son home with him until court, and I then decided I was done. I'm not risking him taking my newborn and me not being able to get him back. Now I'm a horrible person for keeping his son away from him. I just can't win. His mum has also reached out wanting to meet the baby and has asked for one-on-one time with him, and I've said no, but she is more than welcome to come visit him at my mum's with me there. She's declined because she's not having me supervise her. I'm literally my son's only food source right now, but okay. I told her that she could come see him if X ever got joint custody then, and she assured me that he would have full custody and reminded me how horrible I am for not having him or her there to advocate for my son and risking his life by opting for a doctor to do all the work for me, and told me a judge would see how horrible I am. My boyfriend has been over to visit every day, brought us things, and just overall has been super helpful. He offered to do shifts with my mum to help me when I got home, but I'm honestly afraid to go home because I don't want Bill showing up. I really think that I need to file for a restraining order, and it sucks that it's come to this. My lawyer assured me that it wouldn't have a negative effect on me in court and said that it would probably keep X from getting any visitation, but I've been reading all of these horror stories of that not being true, and other parents getting primary custody because of it. So this is where we're at. In the comments, Freya Addo says, I would cease contact with Bill and his whole family except through your lawyer. Don't let the mother visit, don't let Bill visit. It can be dealt with via the courts. Something tells me that once Bill has to actually actively show up and put effort to work with you on amicable parenting relationship, he is not going to find the time. What is more important is you and your baby's health and safety at this time, and someone who threatened to kill you, save those messages, for your medical choices is not safe. This is not about a father wanting to care for his child. This is about an abusive man trying to torment the mother. This is about ego, power, and control. I hope he and his mother are putting this abusive bullshit in writing. I really hope they love to text. The man said he'd kill you. He said he'd remove his son from his breastfeeding mother. His mother said that you risked the baby's life by getting a C-section. They both said they'll take your baby away from you. Get these pieces of garbage to text that to you. Communicate via text only. State that you have offered father a chance to meet the baby and he has declined. That you've offered to let his mother meet the baby, but she refused when you would not allow her to have your breastfed baby alone. And why would you allow them alone time when they've both threatened to take the baby away from you? Also mention how he removed the condom without your consent or knowledge. Get this shit in writing ASAP. I am so sorry you are dealing with this garbage. Focus on your beautiful baby and on healing. You just had major surgery. Those people are trash. And edit, I just realized that you had your baby 1 week ago. 1 week! His mother thinks she merits alone time with the baby? He's threatened to kill you? Get the police involved with this shit, but get it in writing first. Yeah, whenever someone says women who have C-sections aren't real mothers, immediately tune them out and/or block them. This is a telltale sign that you are dealing with a stupid person. I agree with other commenters. Your lawyer should handle all communication between Bill and his family to you. You don't need that stress. Enjoy this time with your son and boyfriend. Some people, like anti-vaxxers, seem to have idealized the time before modern medical interventions, as if nature just finds a way or something. The reality is people just died, at staggering rates. And that's where I'm going to end today's episode, guys. I do hope you enjoyed. If you did, let me know what you thought of it in the comments down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.